Defending on FC24 has gotten a lot harder and left a lot of players confused with how do I actually stop the ball from going in the back of the net. But we're going to touch on multiple different methods today that will up your defending game and help you concede less goals. So, an area that I really want you to pay attention to when you're defending in a back 4, back 3 or back 5, just generally the principle which you can apply to your defending game, which is going to make defending a lot easier for you. And what this is basically allowing yourself to be aggressive with one of your defenders, and then if they get beaten, saying, okay, the rest of my defenders are now kind of on retreat and playing more passive. Now you can just see here how with Robertson, I step up to try and obviously get a tackle into Salah. Now he's going to look for a simple 1-2. This is one of the most easiest plays that an opposition can go for out on this area of the pitch. So when they go for this and I get committed, I don't get there. Now in our mind, it is an instant. Let's make sure that this back 3 retreat backwards and we don't do anything crazy with them. Don't let it be a snowball effect by compounding directly onto a mistake you've already made and then making another mistake and giving the opponent so much space. You can see he lays that ball in, plays that ball out wide. Now, a great position. Now, this right here for Salah is like, yeah, he might cut in, he might go for a finesse, or he might go directly into the byline, which obviously is one of the most effective areas on FC24 right now. So this is a feature which I've added into my game recently, which I still think it has a time and a place, and it's not as great as maybe I'd like it to be, but it certainly can be good in these particular areas. And what is it? It's the partial team press. It's where you tap R1 and then you tap it again. So you basically double tap it, and then on that second tap, you hold it down. On Xbox, this would be RB. So it's another variant of second man press, but it's called partial team press. And what it will do is it will put an icon above 2 players on your team. You can see here it's Declan Rice and it's Virgil van Dijk. And the thought process here is the game will try and move these players to their player that they are marking and get touch tight. They want to be right tight to the opponent. That then means that you have to apply pressure to the ball holder. So we're effectively pressuring 3 players at one given time. You can see Salah drives. I carry on with that partial team press. And now Van Dijk has completely stepped into this lane and said, no, you can't find this pass. And the opponent has nowhere to go. And then to top it off, something which I think has made FC24 defending so much better is advanced defending. And it is just the feature to be able to shoulder barge. Now, in this area, I am thinking of real life football. What would I do in this position if I was Militao? I'd want to use my body, I'd want to get my shoulder, and I'd want to go shoulder to shoulder. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. And how do we do this? You turn on advanced defending in your controller settings, and then you simply hold the X button, A on Xbox, and you can see now how Militao goes for that shoulder barge and he just wins that ball nice and easy. So I'm just going to let this play through again one more time for you so you can see all of it kind of live in the action. The partial team press, the double tap and hold of R1, and then bang, we get that ball. On to our next example. It's a pretty similar area where I step up with my right back, I get caught, and then it's now into retreat mode. So Van Dijk is just tracking back. He ball rolls on the inside and then lays a pass into the middle. Now this looks really dangerous. What I'm thinking about here is what is the most obvious play. When you're defending, you want to try and think about what is the most obvious play that the opponent's going to do. And then when you're attacking, you want to go, what's the most obvious play that the defender thinks I'm going to do, and then I'm going to do the opposite. Now I'm taking a look here and going, okay, this is Neto. Finishing not the greatest on this card as he was doing the evolution upgrade. It's not really a great position for him to get that shot off and score. I'd also then trust my goalkeeper movement. What I'm thinking about here is he wants to play in between these lines and get into Dembele. This area for Dembele is a fantastic position. So as soon as he takes that touch, you can see that I bait ever so slightly here by coming down into this path to make him think, okay, he's going to come, and then I can go for this pass here nice and easily. I'm still holding second man press, which is R1 on Xbox, R1 on PlayStation, RB on Xbox, and then I'm going to move to get ready for this pass. And as he lays that pass off, I'm there. I now stand. Notice how I'm just jockeying. I'm not holding sprint. This is something that you are doing wrong on FC24, and this is costing you goals. Basically, inside the 18-yard box, You only really want to sprint if the opponent is moving at a very high speed. In this area, he's just played the ball on the ground. Dembele is going to take the touch with no sprint. He's going to look to try and skill pass me or get a shot off. So I'm just going to jockey. You sprint jockey when you're out in this sort of area, when you're closing down lanes, you're closing down angles, and you're getting into that opponent's face. Now, I'm just going to stand. I'm going to wait. And then what do? The ball is shown to me. When the ball is in between your player that you are controlling and the opposition player, that's when we press the tackle button. It's like a 50-50. It's an invitation for you to tackle. When the ball is protected, say if Dembele had the ball here and his body was slightly there, we obviously don't press tackle because it's so difficult to get the ball. You run the risk of giving away a penalty and so on. I now want to tackle. I want to get a block. I want to try and do something to stop this Dembele from getting it. And that is exactly what Militao does. So a few different kind of scenarios, a few different things that we do there to ensure that we give ourselves the best possible chance to get a block, to get a tackle, and to just stop the opponent from scoring. It goes for a goal kick in the end, which is great. If we went for a corner, it doesn't matter. We group and we go again. This time around, we're going to pay attention to the middle of the park. Now, I actually get beaten here pretty easily. I apply that pressure thinking that the opponent might have took that touch back into there. He doesn't. He takes the touch down, which is silly defending for me, really. Really, this is the space that he's obviously going to go because he's just come from there, meaning that my players are already in that area. It's a bit congested. So it's a silly press for me. That wasn't like a logical press, right? But now he's took out my two midfielders here. I've only got one DM left. I was playing the 4-3-3 in this game, and he can now get up onto my centre backs. He's beaten that middle press, and this is the area that you want to thrive to get into. Now, I right stick switch, and I get the switch wrong. I wanted to go from here to there, and I end up changing to my left back. So I quickly rectify it by pushing my right stick up. This is something that, again, you'll be doing on FC24 that's wrong. You might be learning right stick switching, or you might be doing it and going, it's not changing to where I want. We make mistakes. We don't push the analog stick in the direction that we want all the time, and that's okay. But, you know, it's very difficult to get right stick switching right, but it's about how you rectify it. I don't panic here. I don't just start wanging the right stick around. I get onto Militao, and now I can look to be ready for the ball. Now I'm standing here. I have a decision. I can try and step into this lane and get ahead, but then if he goes into there and then into there, I'm in trouble. So I'm kind of staying goal side, you know, of this player, of this ball, and I'm waiting for him to play it. Now he does lay it into there, which is what kind of catches me off guard here. And now I start sprinting. One thing to take note, I'm not holding jockey here. Why? Because the opponent has got the ball and he is now going to sprint into this gap. Don't hold jockey when you need to just sprint. Just sprint your way back. I then will enable second man press. It goes on Van Dijk instead of the left back. So I let go of it and then press it again, and then it gets on the left back. You might be wondering, well, why did it go on Van Dijk and not the left back in the first place? It tends to grab the player that is closest to the ball and goal side of the ball. The left back here was just slightly not goal side as I originally started holding. And now I was thinking, okay, this opponent's going to dribble, but he doesn't. He just decides to go straight through. So he just carries on driving, and then I held jockey, which was a mistake because he carried on going. And then I let go of it and go back to sprint. And now what can we do? I'm still holding second man press. And what did I speak to you about? That advanced defending coming through, just holding X just to get that little bit panicky. And then eventually we get that one away. A situation which you're probably all familiar with on FC24, where the opponent looks to break away on that counter attack. I've just had a corner or a set piece, and, you know, I've got a lot of numbers forward. Now he's looking to break. I track that originally, and then I go, okay, I'm going to step up here now because I realize he takes a big touch with sprint. Trying to keep your eyes on the runners and the ball holder is great. If the opponent takes a touch with sprint, they can't then play that ball. The ball's not under their control. You can step up, lay that ball offside. That's what I do. You know, Griezmann's no longer an option, and then he chooses to go to Coman. Now, is this a panicky scenario? Well, not really. Again, I'm holding that partial team press, and these guys are tracking back here, trying to get into these areas to kind of get touch tight to their player. But if Coman beats Van Dijk, this is a sticky scenario, right? But this is where I know with the advanced defending and Virgil van Dijk versus Coman, there is only one winner here. So I come across, I hold X. I'm still holding partial team press, obviously, for these to keep tracking. And I just shoulder barge him off the ball and say, thank you very much. That's now mine. And that's where advanced defending just comes in so many areas to stop those byline drives. And then to show you how advanced defending can have a mistake in it. You know, it's not a perfect thing. There's obviously, it's the same as tackling, right? Sometimes you'll be right, sometimes you'll be wrong. I go to advanced defend here. You can see I go into shoulder barge and the opponent outturns me. That's really good from him, identifying that he's going to look for this shoulder barge. I'm going to step away and go from that. So now my left back is beaten. What do I now do? I step up with Militao. Why do I step up with Militao here? Well, first of all, I'm worried about a finesse. We know finesses can be great on the edge of the box, but I'm doing it in a smart way. I'm doing it in a way where I'm covering off this player. So if I ran just aimlessly like that, you know, to the right or to the left, it means this Dembele could probably just find a simple pass into the striker. But because I run directly in that line to block that passing lane, it now means he can't go for that unless he opens up with a ball roll or something. And I'm banking that I'm going to get there quick enough. So I'm applying pressure to stop the finesse. I'm covering off that pass and he has no other options. His only invitation now is, can he take me on? Can he try and drive past me here with a heel to ball roll, a reverse elastico, a step over, whatever it may be? He hesitates just that ever so much. He actually goes for a ball roll, but ball rolls in taking a player on aren't the greatest. They're good to open up lanes for passes, but they're not great when you're in that 50-50. So what do I do again? I press tackle. What do I do though when I press tackle here? I hold R1. RB on Xbox, this is for a strong power tackle. And these are really good in those 50-50 scenarios when you're head on. If you feel like the ball is constantly bouncing back to the opponent, if you press R1 circle, RBB, you put a stronger tackle in. And the idea is basically you commit to a bigger animation, but it's a stronger tackle, which means the opponent A doesn't get up as easier. You have more chance of winning the ball and it doesn't go back to the opponent as much as normal tackles can do as well. Which is why we win that and then bang, we can look to break away. So I hope all of these tips have helped you with your defending on FT24. If you do need further help, click this video here and we will provide you with that.